I'm an excellent math student. Leonardo, you're not that good of a math student, actually. Yes, I am. Okay, why don't you just wait over there and we'll ask for your help later, okay? Okay. All right. So, welcome back. I hope you guys had a nice spring break and got out in the weather some. This is Jimmy, also not very good at math. And I also hope that you have your workbooks with you. So if you don't have your workbook, go get it and get something to write with. We're going to start working our way through this book. I want you to know that you are in fantastic shape. And as long as you follow along with these lessons and do the work, you are going to be in great shape for 7th grade math in middle school. So pause the video if you need to and get what you need. I'm also looking forward to talking to you in those small group Teams meetings. Most of you are signed up. If you haven't signed up for a small group Teams meeting, then talk to your parents, tell them to shoot me an email and I will get you on the schedule. Okay, got what you need? All right, so now we are going to start on page 177 in your workbook. Looks like this. And up here we have what's called a pan balance problem. Have you ever seen a scale like this? It's called a pan balance because it's kind of got the two pans on either side and you use them to balance out. And they're a great tool for talking about algebraic equations because solving algebraic equations is all about trying to get one side to equal the other side. Okay? So here we have 3 cubes on one side of the pan balance, and there's 9 cubes on the other side. Now, obviously, it's not balanced, right? Because they are not equal. So, you can write an equation to show this relationship. So, here I have 9 minus x equals c, where x equals 6. Or you could have 3 plus x equals 9, where x equals 6. So the question is, what do you need to do to make this pan balance be equal? If this has 3 and this has 9, you have to add 6. All right, let's look down at another problem. This is a question at the very bottom here. It says, suppose that you added 10 cubes to the pan with 3 cubes. Okay, it had 3, I'm adding 10. Now that equals 13 cubes. And then added 4 cubes to the pan with 9 cubes. Added 4, there was 9, also equals 13 cubes. Now they're equal. What does that look like in an equation? 10 plus 3 equals 4 plus 9. Make sense? Okay, let's look at the next page. 178. And up here we've got Jordan, who has a $15 gift card for phone apps. He's used $4.50 of the value from that card, and he wants to buy one more app to use up the balance or the rest of the card. All right, which app should he choose? Here are his choices. Recipes for $9.50, WO2 Sports for $10.50, or Remote Desktop for $12. Now, I know what you're thinking. Miss Williams, I can figure that out in my head because $15 minus $4.50 is $10.50. Well, you're right, but we're trying to learn how to write algebraic expressions, and equations, and really learn how to use that as a tool so that when we get problems where we can't do it in our head, we'll be really good at the skill. So let's take a look at some ways to think about that problem. Here, they've used a bar graph. So $4.50 is the amount that they've spent, and $15 is what was on the whole card, and X, this is this amount that's left that they're going to use for the next app. And here, they've written it as an equation. $4.50 plus X, which is the unknown amount, equals $15. So then what you need to do is find out what that X equals. And they're pointing out here that this whole thing is an equation, and finding out whatever X equals, that's the solution to the equation. Okay, so now they've suggested a way to solve. We know that we have a choice of 3 possible solutions, and if you substitute those amounts into the equation, you can determine whether or not they're accurate. So let's say you try $9.50 and write the equation $4.50 plus $9.50 equals $14. Well, that's not true, right? $4.50 plus $9.50 is $15, so that can't be a solution. Try X equals $10.50 and substitute $10.50 in from where the X was. Now you've got $4.50 plus $10.50 equals $15, which is true. That is the solution. Now, if you've already figured out that $10.50 is a solution, then you know that $12 is not a solution. Okay, so Jordan should buy the WO2 Sports app. All right, now let's try this one. Do this on your own and pause the video and then come back. First, let me just read it through, though. Tracy received a $21 gift card for phone apps. She has used $9 of the value and wants to buy one more app from the list above to use the balance. So just like the other problem, same possible solutions, different total amount. Complete the bar diagram and use the equation $21 equals X plus $9 to determine which app she should buy. So fill this out. The solution is blank. So Tracy should buy the blank app. Also complete the bar diagram. Okay, pause it, come back, and we'll go over the solution. Okay, we are back, and the solution is 12. So Tracy should buy the remote desktop app. And over here in the bar diagram, I put $21 because that is the total amount. $9 is what she's already spent, and we have figured out that X equals $12. Then there's also a convince me problem here where it says, what do you notice about the expression on the left side of an equation compared to the expression on the right side when a value is substituted for the variable? How do you know which value is a solution? Well, that's not super complicated, right? If it makes both sides equal, then it's a solution. If they don't equal, then it's not a solution. Okay, now we are going to look at page 179. So here we have a couple of children who have strange hobbies, and we're going to talk a little about them. Maya has a total of 1,190 marbles and 5 boxes. Stupid! Why do you want all those marbles and boxes? Boring! Okay, Leonardo. Stupid. Okay. So that's a strange thing that Maya is collecting, but whatever. Let's not judge her. Which of Maya's 3 friends, if any, correctly guessed the number of marbles, X, Maya has in each box? And look at them over there trying to guess the number of marbles. Okay. So they've used a bar diagram here. 1,190 marbles, that's the total amount. And then they've got these 5 boxes, which are the same. X is the variable in every box because they've told us that they're dividing them equally. So the way to put that into an equation is 5X, because right? 5 boxes, and they have the same value, x in each. So this is the same as saying 5 times x equals 1,190. Substitute each of the guesses from these 3 people to see if they're a solution. Well, sorry, 234 does not equal 1,190. Neither does 242 or 240. None of those are solutions. These guys have struck out completely. Somebody please buy them calculators. Stupid! Okay. So of Maya's 3 friends, none correctly guessed the number of marbles in each box. No solution is given in the set of values. Okay, how many marbles did Maya place in each box? Well, there's 1,190 equally divided into 5. So divide 1,190 by 5, and you will get 238. 5 times 238 equals 1,190. So Maya put 238 marbles in each box. I know what you're thinking. Again, you're thinking, Miss Williams, this isn't algebra. This is like 3rd grade math when we learned how to divide. Again, we're learning the skill of setting up equations with problems that are not too hard to solve so that you have that skill when the numbers get harder. Okay? So bear with me. Now, bottom half of the page here, we have another, Anthony. We've got another kid with a strange hobby. Anthony has a total of Y marbles. Y, it's a variable. We don't know how many marbles Anthony has. And Anthony's got 4 boxes. He puts 13 marbles in each box and has none left over. So if he puts 13 in each box and he doesn't have any left over, what does that tell you? It's divided evenly. That's going to be the solution. Which of his friends, if any, correctly guessed how many marbles Anthony has in all? I hope Anthony's friends are a little bit sharper or at least have calculators. Use the equation Y, that's the total number of marbles, 4, that's the number of boxes, equals 13. Substitute each guess for Y and evaluate. All right, so Julianne guessed 48 marbles. Nikos guessed 60 marbles. And Quincy guessed 120 marbles. Leonardo, would you like to make a guess? 2. 2 marbles? Okay, I don't know. It's 2. All right, let's see. So try Y equals 48. 48 divided by 4 equals 12. Try 60. 60 divided by 4 equals 15. So far, Julianne and Nikos are striking out. Let's see about Quincy. 120 divided by 4 is 30. Of Anthony's 3 friends, how many correctly guessed the number of marbles that Anthony has? Oh, geez. I told you it was 2. It's not 2 either. Okay, so no solution is given in the set of values. Anthony has how many marbles in all? How would we find that out? Pause the video if you need to and come back. He's got 52 marbles. Okay? All right. So let's go to the next page. Page 180. So up here, we've got a key concept. A solution of an equation is a value for the variable that makes the equation true. Think of a solution. It's an answer, right? It's the right answer. It makes the equation true. Substitute values from a given set for the variable and evaluate. So, x minus 4 equals 12. X equals 9, or maybe x equals 16. See which one of those is true. 9 is not a solution of this equation because 9 minus 4 does not equal 12. 16 is a solution of this equation because 16 minus 4 definitely equals 12. Okay, now the good news about this page is there are no kids with weirdly large collections of marbles. Bad news is, sort of, you're going to have to do more work on this page. Okay, first though, let's look at the do you understand problems. I'm just going to read them and make sure they make sense, and then I'll have you pause and write answers. Now remember with these, you don't have to write a paragraph for an answer. Usually a sentence or two will do it. So, how can you determine whether a given number makes an equation true? So if you get a number like we looked at up here, how do you know if it's the right number? When is an equation true? Remember what an equation is. Different than an expression. It's got an equal sign. So we've got an expression on one side, an equal sign, and then an expression on the other side. When is it true? Remember the key there is there's an equal sign in the middle. Reasoning. Ben says that n equals 5 is the solution of the equation 7n equals 45. How can you check whether Ben is correct? Is Ben correct? Okay. Finally, number 4, a pan balance has 3 cubes on one pan and 11 cubes on the other pan. Lucy thinks she should add 7, 8, 9, or 10 cubes to make the pans balance. How can you use the equation 3 plus c equals 11 to find the number of cubes Lucy should add? Okay? Now pause the video for a minute. Solve those on your own. When you've got your answers, unpause it, and we'll go over them. Okay, so for that first problem, how can you determine whether a given number makes an equation true? Substitute the number into the equation and see if it makes it true. Solve it. Is it equal? When is an equation true? When it's not lying. Leonardo. When the values on either side of the equal sign match. Okay? Ben says that n equals 5 is the solution of the equation 7n equals 45. Sorry, Ben. So substitute the 5 in for n. And then you get 7 times 5 equals 45. 7 times 5 is 35. 35 does not equal 45, so Ben is wrong. The way I found out is that I substituted that value 5 in for my variable. Okay, now the last one. The equation that I used was 3 plus c equals 11. And then Lucy gave me these 4 values to substitute in to see if one of them was correct. So I just substituted those in. 3 plus 7 does not equal 11. 3 plus 8 equals 11. And really, I don't need to do 9 and 10 because I know darn well that those aren't going to work. So I just substituted them in and found the one that made the equation true. Okay, now, other side. In 5 through 8, substitute each given value of the variable to find which, if any, is a solution of the equation. So for these ones, you've got an equation first, d plus 9 equals 35, and then you're supposed to substitute these 4 values in for d and see which one of them is correct. It says if any, which means that it's possible that none of them are correct. So go ahead and do those, pause the video, and then we'll check your answers. Okay, so for number 5, d equals 26, because 26 plus 9 equals 35. For number 6, none of those values work. For number 7, g equals 5.3, because 13.4 minus 5.3 equals 8.1. For number 8, m equals 9, because 4 equals 36 divided by 9. All right. If you missed any of those, go back and check your work. Now, in 9 through 12, you're going to tell whether each equation is true or false. So, when n equals 8. So wherever you see an n in any of these equations, substitute 8 in there, and then say which one of those equations is true and which ones are false. All right, pause the video and do those, and then unpause it when you're ready for the answers. Okay, so this equation is false, and 8 does not equal 54 minus 36. Number 10 is true. 5 times 8 does equal 40. Number 11 is false. 152 divided by 8 does not equal 21. And number 12 is true. 8 plus 46 does equal 54. Okay? All right, I hope you did well and that all of that made sense. That is our lesson for today. And we'll see you next time. Bye.